All right then. So yeah, what I'm going to do is I'm going to do some transcribing. Now, transcribing is different from composing. It basically means you take a piece of music and you change it a little bit. In this case, I take music from traditional music notation. Let me just show you. And I change it. So if I go to management, be logged in. Yes, this is the management of the Musitude website. It's the back-end server stuff. We've actually got more than this number of users. It's just that we stopped requiring a sign up to use the website. So if I go to notation here, and if I type, let me do it on this keyboard. If I go to notation, if I type Zora BHD, welcome. Are you following on? What are you following on, Zora? Are you following on Twitch, Facebook, or YouTube? Give us a hi. So if I control F, if I type Minuet in C minor by Johann Sebastian Bach, here it is. Okay. So I played this piece earlier, didn't I? And this is how we do it. We type in the music notation in here based on traditional. This just means like one beat, the note of C, one beat, blah blah blah. Right? So if I type it in here and then I can click edit, it just appears automatically, practically instantly on the website. However, this is actually a duet. So duet, see? So it comes from that. So this is one part. Let me just smallify this a bit. So but now I'm going to create part 2. Right? So it's the same piece, but it's duet part 2. What was the difficulty on the other one? I can't remember. It was a beginner. Pretty easy. I can't remember what I wrote as playstyle either. Dominating. The reason I created that was because I was doing a Dr. Disrespect. Dominating. So actually let me go back and just double check on this one. So that was just steady. Oh, I described it as intermediate. All right then, that's intermediate. So duet part 2, intermediate. It's not really intermediate, but I'll try that. Steady. Instrument. We'll go with piano, I guess. I could do all sorts. I was thought about trying harpsichord, but our harpsichord doesn't sound that great right now. Key signature is this one. E flat. Signature 3, range. I have to check that. You just pull up a little chart here. Scales. Okay. Scales by range. Okay, so actually let me get the music up first and I'll show it to you. Transcribe. There it is. Okay, it's on 2 pages. So this is a piece of music we're going to transcribe. I've already done this one, the top one. And so the bottom one's a bit simpler. So that's going to be easy to do. But because it's on a different range, this is in the G clef, this is in the F clef. So I'm going to bring up okay. So what I do is I have these conversion charts. So I'll go through this piece and I'll figure out what is the lowest note. That is G, I believe. Right? There's no lower note than G. Oh, that's F. And here's a E. Yeah, E. So if I look on here, range 2 goes all the way down to here. So I want to go onto range 1, I think. Yeah, so range 1 will cover it. And it doesn't go any higher. Okay, yeah, I think this is going to be range 1. Okay, so I just look at this and see if it's, let me big this up. If the piece is, there's 3 octaves in music, so if it's lowercase, uppercase, or uppercase with a caret symbol. So, right, what I'm going to do is put this here, put this here. You'll see the method to the madness in a moment. Ah, the tempo, that was 100. And the range was 1. Okay, so what I will do now is go back to the first page on this one. Bring that up over there. Got something in my eye. So I'm gonna start here. Now, I have been practicing with flashcards to memorize all the notes because I'm actually not a trained musician. So well, after all, that's why I made Musitude, so I could play music when I can't read music. But I did train myself to memorize all these note names. I've just got these flashcards, and every day I just try to cycle through and try and memorize them. And oops, reference chart. Okay, so let me explain how this is done. So this piece doesn't even exist yet. This part 2 to this minuet, it doesn't even exist. Actually, let's get some vibes going. So yeah, so this piece doesn't exist at all. Earlier you saw me load up and play part 1, but there was no part 2 at the time. In fact, I can show it to you on here. If I go to Fifi Chow has liked the stream. Thank you, Fifi Chow. Because I'm using a new system today, so normally I could tell if you're watching on Facebook, YouTube, or Twitch, but I can't quite tell. So type us a hello in the chat. I think it might be Twitch, but yeah, give us a hello in the chat. Oh, not like that. And let us know. Okay, where was I? Oh yeah, minuet. Minuet in, oh God. In space C minor. Okay, so as they say, this is one I made earlier, but you don't see any option there, do you, for selecting part 1, part 2? Of course, we've got all the instruments we can select. But you don't see any options for selecting the parts. But I'm going to actually make part 2 right now on the back end of the Musitude website. So it's pretty cool. What you're seeing right now is the Musitude website, or you could see Musitude on the apps. But all the programming and all the stuff is done on the servers on the back end, and then we upload it to the site. We upload new pieces that you can play. So you're actually in for a treat, because you're going to, actually, why don't I just, that's better, isn't it? So you're going to see me, this is me using the back-end servers, where I'm going to transcribe this piece. I'll click edit, well in this case create, and it will be immediately on the website. So what I do is, right, smallify that a bit. All right, so what I do is I type these notes in from here. So I don't need to worry about adding sharps and flats, because the system does it automatically. See, I selected it here, 3 flats, 3 flats. It will just know when I type those notes to make them flat. Flat really means, if you don't know about sheet music, music has like an octave sound, and so it has 7 notes. And it's funny because we call it an octave. Octave means 8, but it has 7 notes, and then the next note in the cycle makes it 8. But really the next note is the next bunch of 7. So it has 7 notes, and then because of the frequency of sound, when you get to the next note, it sort of harmonizes. So they call it the same name, A, B, C, D, E, F, and G. But the weird thing is, if you look on a piano, you see all these black keys, right? So and then there's a space. There's 5 extra notes. So you've got 7, and then you've got 5 black keys. What black keys really means is, just in the space between 2 notes, there's another note in there. So whenever you hear it, it always feels like it's only half a step or half a step up. If it's half a step down, they call it a flat. If it's half a step up, they call it a sharp. So these notes you see on the page here, you see a note here, for example, on this line would be B. So this is a C. This is a D. So they don't even bother giving it a letter. There's nothing between C and D. So they have to call it C sharp, or if it's going down, just call it the same one, D flat. But there's no space for it. There's no image for it. So you just take this note, you call it a sharp. So it's weird. So in Musitude we don't have that. We just have the whole alphabet. So every letter is its own note, and we just don't distinguish between sharps and flats, because we're not going to be composers or anything. Anyway, that's enough yakking. So I have to memorize what notes these are. So I know there's F, G, A, B, C. So yeah, that's a C. And it's of the duration 2 beats. So I write here like this. 2, capital C. If it was a lower note, I would do a lowercase c to indicate that. Then I just go space. Then I go 1. And then I give it an R. What does R mean? R means rest. Rest means basically silence. So each bar here you get three beats. This is only 2, but it means next one just don't play anything. Count it, don't play it, and then on the next one start playing. So then I do 1, 2, 3. So again it's C, right? But it's 1 beat. So I do not need to even put a number in. If it's 1 beat, it's going to know what it is. Space, then C again, space, and it's D, 1, 2, 3, just to show that I'm moving on. Then that would be, yeah, E, space, E, space, and again C, 1, 2, 3. So again, we'll give it a D, space, C, space. Now this is interesting. So because there's the key signature, means all these notes have to be flat, which means they have to be down half a tone. If they were down a whole tone, they would go something like from here. 1 whole tone goes down to there. So a line, each tone is a space or a line. half a tone is somewhere between there and there, but you can't really see it, so it's a bit silly. Anywho, so this is telling us that F G A is flat, B is flat, and E is flat. So it means every note that comes along here that's A, B, or E has to be flat. Sometimes what happens is the composer will decide that's true as a general rule, but this particular note, don't make it a flat. But because this system on our back end is automatically making these notes flat, so I don't have to like put extra characters in, I have to do something to tell this not to do it on this particular note. So what do? I go, where was I? D, C, that's an A, isn't it? So I type like A, is it? A. In a minute, is it A? F, G, A, B. No, it's B. Yes, so it's not A, it's B. What am I thinking? What am I thinking? It's still flattened. Anyway, so I do D, C, B, but as I write B, I put a little sneaky 0 in there. Zero means, what does the music stop? Oh, no, the music is just, you just pause to go to the next piece, but it was a bit of a dramatic pause. So 0 means that just typing a 0 means cancel out this action on this particular note. So 1, 2, 3, and move on. So now the reason why they're adding a flat there, even though it already says here do them as flat, is because it's giving me the instruction here not to do a flat. It's just reminding me we're back on doing flats again. But I don't have to pay attention to this because, again, this is doing it for me. So starting again, you notice these ones I do not have to write 1 in there. Because anytime a piece of music, a note is 1 beat, it just knows that. So I just write the note. If it's more than 1, I have to write the note. So here I go, 2. And again, what note is that? That's B. B. Space. Onto this one. A. And again, all A's are going to be made flat because this is flat. And again, they're telling me this one, don't make it flat. Type the note, but cancel out the flattage. So what do? I type A and 0. 1, 2, 3. And if the program works, which we just set up yesterday actually, so if it works, then yeah, we'll find out, because it'll sound weird if it doesn't. All right, we're cracking on, aren't we? And now, again, it's telling me, see, it said don't make it flat here. Now it's reminding me, start making it flat again. But again, I don't need to do anything special. So all I got to do is, did I do 3? 2, 3, yeah, I did. All I've got to do is write 2 and A. Space. What comes before A? G. Yeah, but now, as you can see on this scale, because we have 3 octaves in the Musitude range, so that the system knows it's a different G. Otherwise, how does it know if it's this G or this G? That's another thing about music. In Musitude, we just, one letter is one note, you can't confuse it. So, how do we know it's not this G? Instead, it's this G. I type it lowercase instead of uppercase. Genius. All right. 2A. There we go. And then 1. So 1G, but I don't need to write the number because it's just 1 beat. 1, 2, 3. Actually, I don't do 1, 2, 3, do I? Because it's a new line. So now I make it a new line, but with a space. And we're already here. So again, 2. Oh! So what is this again? This is A. So 2 A, and it's uppercase A still. Space. So what's this? This is F. So all I need to do, but it's lowercase f. So just write F. Then 1, 2, 3 onto here. So this is G, a lowercase g. So it's 1 beat. So I just do a G like that. Then space. Now this is interesting. This here means the note is half as long as this note. So this is 1 beat. So obviously this means it's half a beat. So half a beat, half a beat, half a beat, half a beat. In total, this is 2 beats, but 2 of these equals 1 of those in terms of how long the note lasts. So what I do here is I look at the note, which is well, I know because that's F. See, that looks like doesn't look like a letter F, but it's a fancy stylized F. So that's a G and F, and those are both uppercase. So what I write here is like this, G, F together, and the system will know because there's no space in between them that it's half a beat for each one. Then I put a space in, then I write these, E and D. So again, uppercase. So I write E, D. I don't need a space, and it will know to make these half a beat. Okay, now these 2 dots here, what do these mean? These 2 dots, if you go back, well, from the beginning, you don't need to. It means go back to the very beginning and start again and play. So it really means just repeat this part. In this case, when you get to the end, there'll be 2 dots. It means don't go back to the very beginning, go back to the next time you see 2 dots. So what I do is instead of retyping all that, I just copy it. Give it the old bish bash bosh line space. I've got this weird keyboard and it says function. It doesn't say control. I don't know what's going to happen if I press function. Oh no. Oh, there's control. All right. So again, bish bash bosh. Oops. Bish bash bosh. So now what I've done is I've done all this from here to the end, and then from here, and then I've copied it. So I've done it twice. And now the new line starts here. Well, this is weird because you've got 3 beats, 4, 5 in one, but it's not really that. It's because it's for a piano. You press this, and then 1 beat later you come in there. So I think I'm going to just treat that as a single note for expedience. All right, so what is that then? That's a C again. So I'm just going to write the old C-a-rooney, followed by E, but remember it's telling me to naturalize the E, isn't it? So I just go E with a 0 after it. Is that an E? I think it is. E, F, yeah, of course it is. What am I thinking? And then I just throw an F in there. 1, 2, 3. Moving on. I'll throw a G, and it's telling me to naturalize again the F, sorry, the E. So E, and then C. 1, 2, 3. Onto this one again. Again, the E is. Oh wait a minute! I didn't naturalize it, did I? Boom! Try to catch me out. So again, the E, which is naturalized. Natural just means not sharpened or flattened. Then C, and because this is in what in traditional music we call a bar, in Musitude we call a cradle, because it's in the same bar, the composer doesn't need to write this instruction again. It just assumes if the same note occurs in the same bar, I think it's not just on the same line, you do the same instruction. But once you go into a new section, you don't need to do that. So again, I would do E and bish bash bosh. Now what does this mean? A note with a dot after it. If the dot was directly above it, it would mean something completely different. It would mean staccato, which is play the note really short, like tut. But because the dot comes after it, it actually means take the length of this note and add 50% to the length. So 1 beat becomes 1.5 beats. And it is an F, obviously. So I whack an F in there, but before I do that, I have to give an instruction to the duration, which is 1.5. Any note longer than 1 beat, I have to give it the note length instruction. So that's where am I at? 1.5. Go back to a C. I don't need to give it an instruction for duration because it's a 1 beat note. And then I go, wait, what am I doing? I'm on the wrong bar, aren't I? Oh, okay. So this is half a beat. That means 1.5 beats plus half beats would make 2 beats. And then these are half beats, so 3 beats. So 1, 2, 3. So following this, I could make this bigger so it's easy for you to see. And easy for me. Right, so I've done 1.5 beats there. And I follow that up with G. And I go back to... That's interesting. What would I... Yeah, I would do like this. 0.5 G. Then I go space. But these next two, all I have to do is F and E. It says to do flat. The reason it says to do flat is just reminding you that last time it told you not to do flat. But I don't need to pay attention to this because, again, the system will do it for me. All right, 1, 2, 3. So there we've come to the end of the line for this. Hopefully I can just, yeah, there you go. All right, I'll see if I can zoom through these babies. All righty. Here it looks like there's... Why is there 2? There's 1 here, 2 here. Oh, this is confusing. This is not a bar line. It's just from the video, it's a progress line. So here it looks like there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 notes instead of 3. So it's just that you can play them at the same time. But I'm just going to play them, treat them as 1 note. So do I think I should make a new line. All right, let's blast through this baby. That's a D. D. Boosh. And that's a B. And then that's a E. 1, 2, 3. On to the next. On to the next. That's F. D. No ads, thank you. D. Wait, am I even? Was I wasn't even typing anything, was I? Okay, let's go back again. E. That was here, wasn't it? Which was F space D space C 1, 2, 3 onto here. So again, D space B space D 2, 3 onto here. Again, now I have to go 1.5 and it is E space then 0.5 F, and now I go E D E, so E D 2, 3. Here we go. I go C space F space E 2, 3. On to the next one. D space G space E 1, 2, 3. Only it's not 1, 2, 3. It's a new line. Remember these dots here. When I get here, I have to go back and copy it. So I'll just copy that. Copy that. Okay. So again, D space C space B. So this is a B, but I have to naturalize it. So B 0, naturalize 1, 2, 3. Okay. C space B. I do not naturalize it. And this is an A, but I have to naturalize it. Bush 1, 2, 3. B naturalized. C space B not naturalized. At least a space there. 1, 2, 3. We're almost at the end. So here we have A naturalized space A not naturalized, so it's A flat, and lowercase g 1, 2, 3. Almost there. E space F space G 1, 2, 3, and the last note is 3 beats long. Remember when we saw one like that with a dot, 1 beat plus half its value is 1.5 beats. This alone would be 2 beats, but with a dot it makes it 3 beats. So 3 C. Now I have to go back and copy all this. So let's have a look. Where was the beginning of it? Okay. The beginning of it was there, wasn't it? So that was C, E, F, C, E, F. There. That was the first part. That was the second part. So bish, bosh, bash that. Actually, I'm going to put another space in there just to clarify. Bish, bosh, bash that. Bush, bash. Control A. Right. So I've now coded all these. I've basically described them. That's all I've really done. Coded them. I've just described them. I've just looked at every name of every note and the duration and whacked it in there. So now if I click create, we will see if it causes, if we got any errors. Don't you dare. No errors whatsoever. Nice. All right, so now we will go to the Musitude website Remember here that there was no part 2 at all? But look what happens now that I've just coded that on the back end of the Musitude website. And I instantly clicked create. So what happens, look what happens when we refresh this. Look what happens here. Fingers crossed. Refresh that page. Boom! Part 1. That's part 1. And that's the part we just encoded. And that's not good. So we've got some errors. Because it's not, it should draw a line in between them there. Interestingly, it didn't. All I have to do is go back and just do it the old school way. Let's have a look. Okay. So let's see where it did that. I think it did it here. In fact, I can just put it there. Let's check it out. I think if I do this 0.5, anytime I see a doubled up letter. Okay. Just copy that, couldn't I? Let's look at these 3 here. See if that changes. Oh, I forgot about that one. See if that changes. See these here, where they're a bit messed up. They don't have a line. They should have a line dividing them. Same for this one. If I refresh now, oh, we go to part 2 again. See, now there's a line. Yeah, boy. I don't get too excited. However, on this bunch here, there should be some as well. Oh, there it is. 0.5. Bush, 0.5. Doubly up, 0.5. Oops. 0.5. Now what I do is do my thing. Copy this. Just replace that. Check that. No errors. Refresh this. Watch that. See this? There should be a line between these and a line between these. See if it comes up. Of course, I've got a boom lineage in the plineage. So now we've got part 1 and part 2. Turn the music off. All right, let's give it a play. In action. Now I am rubbish at playing this, so I'm going to mess it up. At least you'll be able to hear. I'm going to tell it to play part 2, the one that I've just encoded, and I'm going to try and play part 1. Here we go. Yeah. I'm not very good with the. We've been messing around with the design of these triplets, and I've actually decided to make them do a straight line and to do them in a straight line that way. It just seems more intuitive. Let me load up part 2, and now I'm going to play part 2 and tell the website to play part 1. No messy triplets in there to trip me up. So I'm going to play this. That means I tell the website to play part 1, the part that I've just already played. So let's have a crack at this. That definitely had a Baroque sound to it, didn't it? What is that sound? I can't tell if that's a train or a plane. All right, or the wind. That's the first time I played that piece, so considering that I was doing what's called sight reading, it wasn't too bad. It's a fairly easy piece to play. That's why it really shouldn't be called intermediate. So that's cool. That's me live on the internet, live transcribing on the back-end servers of Musitude a piece of music from traditional music notation, which is this, into the Musitude encoding, which is this. It might look like complex coding or some kind of obscure. It's not English, but all it is, it's just the name of these notes, B, E, D. That's all I'm doing, all I'm writing in there. But the magic source is the Musitude software, which our genius, A-head, massive brain programmers I've created, which takes this simple description of these notes and changes them into these notes.